Hello and welcome to this brief presentation about engaging employers and professional bodies in curriculum design. My name's Mark Stubbs and I'm Professor and Head of Learning and Research Technologies at Manchester Metropolitan University. This presentation intends to draw lessons from our Supporting Responsive Curricula project, known as SRC, which is kindly funded by the JISC under a 4-year initiative designed to pilot agile, demand-oriented curriculum design processes that promote flexible delivery and enhance learner employability. SRC is funded under the JISC's Curriculum Design and Delivery Programme and is led at an executive level here at MMU by Professor Kevin Bonnet, Deputy Vice-Chancellor for the Student Experience, and is project managed by Peter Bird. SRC aims to engage with employers and professional bodies to articulate the high-level skill and competence frameworks that we can then take across to our curriculum and map to see where we have areas of coverage and gaps. Working closely with course teams, we want to explore opportunities to close those gaps, and working with curriculum colleagues within our quality assurance departments, we're looking ways to close those gaps quickly on the kind of time frames that employers need to see. Looking also at that mapping exercise, we're hoping to signpost opportunity to learners so that they're able to plan their personal development, and we're working closely with learners to help them showcase their talents in ways that employers and professional bodies understand and value. Our first year of activity has focused mainly on benchmarking where we're at in order that we can see progress over the 4 years of the project, and laying the groundwork for pilots so we have real experience to draw from. We did a detailed analysis of our quality approval and design processes with the specific challenges of employer engagement in mind. We found those processes to be incredibly robust, whether we were approving new programs or making minor modifications to existing ones, but a little cumbersome and certainly paper intensive and oriented very much around whole programs and awards. This raised in our mind a number of questions which we know we share with other projects funded under the JISC's Curriculum Design and Delivery Programme. We wonder whether employer needs and timeframes can really be handled within standard quality assurance and approval processes. If we decide to go down the route of having something different and special, what are the pros and cons of doing so? Is it more a case of interpreting our existing QA protocols and guidelines to give this kind of greater responsiveness? And it's interesting to see that there will be an event in December involving the QAA, the Higher Education Academy and Foundation Degree Forward, exploring these very themes. One of the other benchmarking activities that took place were a series of focus groups with colleagues from across MMU at all different levels to see if we had a shared consensus about this notion of responsive curricula. I think it's fair to say that there was a strong agreement around the responsiveness meaning something to do with listening and acting in a timely fashion and operating in a dialogue mode that was open to ideas that were coming in. I think in terms of enablers, we saw that there was general interest in developing agile, joined-up single-truth systems that could empower staff and students to have that voice and to see that it could be acted upon in a timely fashion. We saw as a common theme an interest in rebalancing the current effort that goes into upfront approval, potentially to put more into ongoing enhancement of programs. We saw a focus and an interest in assembling credit, and we certainly saw a recognition that these kinds of initiatives would involve some level of working that challenged traditional ownership boundaries and required more collaborative approaches. We saw that skills development did seem to provide a strong theme for pulling a lot of this activity together, and we found at the University for World-Class Professionals that there was a whole raft of success that we could already build out from. We have open professional programs, we have professional body accreditations, and there are existing courses that have been designed and delivered specifically with and for employers. The whole agenda fits very strongly and closely with our new strategic framework for learning, teaching and assessment, which has specific objectives that are very, very relevant to our SRC project. We hope to embed core and professional skills, accredit the employability skills that our students develop, and prepare our students to manage their own personal development in an ongoing way. Interestingly, there is a specific objective to develop responsive curricula. I think also, though, as we were engaging in this activity, it begs some questions. Responsive to whom in particular? And where we have collections of SMEs or charities, how do we create a voice for those kinds of networks? Is the assumption that employers are better placed to articulate their future skill needs than universities? Is that an assumption that really needs to be challenged and tested? This question of redirecting effort away from upfront approval and towards ongoing quality improvement, does that need to be challenged and questioned? What evidence is there that would help us make the right decision? Where we see challenges, we often see that sector needs don't map onto disciplinary boundaries. So how do we respond in those situations? Does this skills agenda really work for all subjects? And taken to its ultimate extreme, does it mean that universities will simply become factories producing knowledge workers? Or is this really our chance to step up and say what it is that is special and different about higher education in the UK? I think it's useful now also to share some of the lessons that have been coming through from our pilots. We're seeing that things are different across the institution. One size doesn't fit all. But there are areas of similarity as well. I think it's fair to say that in all areas there are opportunities to help our students showcase their talents in ways that employers understand. We've seen similar challenges in dealing with multiple professional bodies. We've seen that sometimes we have disciplines that are natural reflective practitioners, which creates a climate in which a skills agenda like this can thrive, but we've also seen areas where it can be more challenging. We've seen that sometimes competence and skill are used interchangeably, whereas in other areas of the institution, those things are very, very important to be kept apart. We can see that employers can engage in many and varied ways and do. And perhaps the question is one of how do we find the right balance and mix for particular areas. Building out from those questions to explore things at a higher level, what is the value in mapping skills to curricula? If we're going to get people to buy in, we need to be very clear about the rationale for doing so. Is it sufficient to limit our tagging exercise to the assessment activities, or do we need to go further? What are the specific benefits for extending this tagging approach to students? Is there really a case for an institutional e-portfolio, or are we saying that what we need are different professional e-portfolios for different disciplines and sectors? What are the most effective ways of bringing employers and learners together? And a key enabler that's been identified in a number of cases is this single source of system support. What are the requirements for that, and are they shared across the sector? Hopefully, the JISC Online Conference will give us a chance to explore these themes, and I very much look forward to engaging with you at it.